Welcome to After Hours, guys. It's September, and September is Recovery Month. This is the whole month long. Obviously, it's then we go into Stoptober. But I have a little thing that I've been going. I think we're coming up on 2 years in winter, so it's called Sober Seasons, and it's from the 21st of. So it's basically the equinoxes to the solstice and the solstice to the equinox. So I started it. It'll be 2 years ago on the 21st of December, the winter solstice, and it runs for 3 months. So it's ongoing because it's basically from 21st of December to January, February, March, 21st of March, which is the equinox, and then it turns into sober spring, sober summer. So we're coming up on the 21st of September for the new sober autumn, which will run until 21st of December. All the links are on my Instagram, my Facebook. It's called Sober Seasons. It's on Facebook. It's a private group. If you like, see, for me, Stoptober's great, dry January's great, recovery month September is great, but a month isn't long enough. You basically need to have 90 days, 3 months of pure abstinence to really start noticing the difference. This is exactly why I set up Sober Seasons. So it's a small group. It is growing. Hopefully we'll get a lot more people this autumn. Summer tends to be a bit of a quiet season. I think speaking to people that motivate, people go out, and when I say out, they relapse, they start drinking again just because they want to be in a beer garden. It is sad that that's happened, but they notice it and motivate. They don't have as many people going to the meetings, going to one-to-ones. It's just a kind of quiet period because I guess people are drinking and using, which is quite sad. But then you start to have a big influx again in autumn. For the people that are in my sober seasons, I'm quite slack over summer, putting in affirmations and kind of posts because it's a busy, time for gardening. And I had a lot on this summer. There was a wedding and stuff. Don't know if I've mentioned that before. Basically it's coming up in what are we on today? It's the 8th. So by the time this goes out, it'll already have started. If I'm not saying people can't join after the 21st of September. It's just ongoing. People join all the time. I'm not saying that everyone that's in there is sober and stays sober, but it's a good support network, and people are constantly trying to help each other out. And the people that have got longevity, or even like a month or two, they're posting on there to let people know that they're doing well. So it's a great little community, and hopefully we'll get it to grow as well. So yeah, today on After Hours we've got Olly. I've not known Olly that long on Instagram. We've never really spoken. We've just kind of messaged each other. So it was good to finally meet up with him. He's just got a great little page on Instagram. And having a conversation with him, listening to his story. Like me, he didn't really have a massive any trauma growing up or anything like that. Alcohol was about. He had his parents split up when he was, I think 5 or 6, maybe 7, similar age to when my parents split up. Didn't really, as far as he knows, affect him in that way. But who knows? These things can have a detrimental effect that we're unsure of. But I think the main thing for there's a lot of things that Olly went through, and you'll hear about that, as you listen. But the apprenticeship thing, he was a carpenter. He went into carpentry apprenticeship, from 16, leaving school. And I know we say like a lot of industries are big drinking industries, but with apprenticeships, your bosses are doing it, you're doing it. It's just kind of the expected kind of norm of finish the day, we're going for pints. That's it. It's just inbuilt into it, and it it's from an early age. It's these guys are drinking at 16 because they're going to the pub with their kind of mentors and whatnot. So it is it's a dangerous kind of precedent to begin your kind of working career with. But Ollie went kind of through some massive trauma. He was a witness to a really horrific accident, and I think that was kind of what really started sending him kind of down a dark path. He did kind of have. I don't think he really had as much support as he should have got with that. They didn't delve into it. I think it was just like, right, here's a couple of little counselling sessions, right, on you go. And then I think through COVID's, it kind of really, really ramped up for him. He spent a bit of time in Cyprus with work, and he just went, he was treating it like kind of like a holiday almost. Cocaine crept in, and take care when listening, because there is talk of suicide in this episode, and luckily Ollie's still with us, but he kind of really did have a struggling time with that. So yeah, I'm not gonna say anything more on the episode until the end, but yeah, take care when listening, guys. Listen for the similarities and not the differences. And here's Ollie. Ollie, welcome to After Hours, mate. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thanks you.
Yeah, good man, good. Yeah, the sun's kind of. I always start with the weather. I don't know why I do that, but we're British, so why not?
Yeah,
Sun's shining here today, mate. Hope it is with you too.
bit of both.
Bit of both.
Had some heavy rain, some storms, but then sunny at the minute. So yeah.
Nice. Whereabouts are you?
Bedford. So yeah, East Midlands, Anglia area. So, yeah, near Milton Keynes.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I used to
um,
live in Cambridge myself, so
yeah,
I think I went to a pub. Is St Neots in Bedfordshire? Not.
yeah. It's about 20 minutes away
Yeah,
from me. Yeah.
yeah. I've got a little. You won't be able to see it here, but I've got a little sovereign ring scar from back in the
Maybe.
day. I don't. It
Yeah.
was a blackout, mate. No idea what actually happened, but a friend told me I got punched in the head, and a guy had a sovereign ring. So that's my
Nice.
kind of memories of Bedfordshire. But
Bedford.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining us today, mate.
That's all right.
So we just want to, just introduce yourself. Tell us about your childhood and when you had your first drink, man.
Yeah. So childhood was pretty regular, standard, I suppose.
Yeah.
Other than my parents split up when I was maybe 7 or 8, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't say, other than obviously it has an impact, I wouldn't say it was a massive issue or problem as such. Maybe we don't realise it at the time, maybe it was, don't know. But
Hmm.
yeah, other than that, I'd say, yeah, grew up around drinking. I suppose back then it was more prevalent, wasn't it? As in, you grew up in pubs, you were put in a pub and there's other
Yeah.
kids there, have a drink, a bag of crisps.
Just get on with it. It's like instead of
Yeah, I'm with
instead
it.
of putting the iPad in front of the kids now, it's like, right,
Yeah,
put it in the corner. And how old are you? Sorry, Ollie.
I'm 36.
Right, okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm 45, so but it's the same kind of era. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like, what gets me is when you see like play parks in a pub now. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like,
exactly that.
put the kids over there. They'll deal with themselves. They'll entertain themselves while we can get on it. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a bit of a wonder. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you see it as much now, but there is that. Yeah, I mean, even restaurants now where it's like the
yeah,
carvery, they've
that's
got
it.
the little what is it, colouring in sheets for the
Yeah,
kids and all that. It's
that's
all
it.
just to get the kids taken care of, and then we can get on the booze. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
quite
even
quite
back then, you
nice.
used to have, what was it, the old like Charlie Chalks, was it, and things like that, and they had a soft play area, didn't they? And you'd be
Yeah,
chucked in there and things like that. But yeah,
absolutely. It's crazy, and
crazy.
don't get me wrong, it, it's a kind of double-edged sword because beer gardens on a sunny, amazing. We've had an amazing summer here. Do you know what I mean? Like beer gardens, they're going to go. Like adults are going to go down, and if they're going to take the kids, at least there's something for them to do. But
Yeah,
is it right? Is it wrong? It's one of
exactly
them
that.
things, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I notice that now with my daughter. She's always said like, because you tell yourselves, don't you, that, oh, they love going down there. They love
Yeah.
running around with the other kids. They love being there and sitting with a bag of crisps. But when you stop and you do realise, and they say it themselves, that's when you realise they didn't really enjoy it. They do it to please us, I think, don't
Yeah.
they? As
Yeah.
kids do.
It's because that's what
Really,
they're kind of used to, and they get it in the situation, and it's like, no, we don't. What are we doing? We'd rather be at home on an iPad or playing with our
yeah,
mates. We don't want to be down the pub.
100%. If you offer them all the other options, 9 times out of 10, they'd take those other options, is the way I see it. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
hear it
Because
from
it's
them,
yeah. I was going to say it's not like I know there's places where you go and it's like you've got all your mates and it's a big group of people, but a lot of times they're going down the pub with maybe a couple other people, and there's so many other strangers, and the kids aren't. They're probably picking up on, well, that person's maybe a little bit drunk, or that person's
yeah,
loud, and this is going on, and so yeah, it's not the safest of environments, is it? But
no,
yeah.
100%.
So when did you? Like, I was going to say my parents split up when I was 6, and I've done a bit of therapy and things like that, and
Mm,
as far as I can see, that didn't cause me, as far as I know, it didn't cause me the trauma. But is it a like underlying trauma,
yeah,
or like did I drink because of that? I don't think so. But I haven't delved into it. I had a happy childhood. I had a good childhood. I was looked after. But do we think that these things can kind of have an impact? I don't know. When
yeah,
when did you have your
100%.
first drink?
I would have been, I'd say 13, 14, that sort of age when you start going down the park with your mates and you're doing it to fit in, aren't you? So it's just everyone else is doing it, all your mates are doing it, so you sit down the park with a few tinnies and yeah, that's where it pretty much started really. But like I say, I don't think at that point, I don't think it's for any reason. You're just doing it to fit in.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Everyone's doing it.
think
You sit there.
I think with like I think a lot of the younger ones now coming up, do you know what I mean, 16, 17, even in their 20s, are they seem to be steering away from it, but I think like your generation was very similar to mine. It's just what we did. Do you know what I mean? Going
Yeah.
down the park on a Friday, Saturday night, it's like there's not much else to do. There wasn't as much. I mean, I don't know. Did you have when did you get your first phone? I'm guessing you didn't have a phone at 14, did you? Or
No, it's probably just about, yeah, probably, yeah, 15, 16 maybe, yeah.
yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
it was kind of that generation, but
Yeah.
even if you had a phone, there wasn't that much to do on it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's like the kids are just on it all the time. They're
Yeah.
communicating. They're doing this and doing that. And again, they're getting fitter and healthier. And I'm not saying we weren't fit and healthy, but they seem to be finding other outlets, and
Yeah.
they maybe know the dangers in it. And yeah, but like going back, like there wasn't that much to do when we were that age, so we just go out
No,
and
there
hang
wasn't
out
that.
and
And you
get
can do it on your phone. Like you say, social media now, so different.
yeah,
And back then, I think back then, what was it, like MSN and things like that? But you couldn't do that on a
exactly.
phone. You had to go home and do it on your computer anyway. So
Yeah.
it
And,
was,
and and like you'd have to get top up on your phone to text someone, so you weren't doing that. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um,
But yeah, I'd say it was around then. And like I say, I was always around it, as in parents drink. My dad
mm,
was definitely, still is, more of a drinker
mm,
than my mum, and played football from 5 years old. And that was great, great times. But even that, now I look back, I think that always evolved around drink, like down our local social club. Football at 10, you were still down there at 8 o'clock in the evening with all the lads, but all the dads were in the pub. And
yeah,
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 when you think back now, everything evolved around that.
yeah,
And like I say, being in pubs. Um, but yeah, I don't think, like I say, when you're drinking then to fit in, it's never you're drinking because there's an issue sort of thing. And I think moving through then to 15, 16, I was quite a sort of big lad for my age and looked
mhm,
older and having a beard come through. So I was out sort of going into town at 15, 16.
yeah,
Obviously, it was a lot different back then. People got in easier and
yeah, yeah,
fake IDs and all that. But yeah, I'd say that's when it started drinking heavily.
yeah.
So again, still not for any particular reason, but
So what was
it
so
was
what
pretty
was your
heavy
kind of
drinking.
school life like? Did you finish
Yeah,
school and go to uni, or did you work, or
yeah. So I finished school and went into apprenticeship, 16,
yeah,
carpentry, sort of construction, straight in to a big drinking culture within that.
yeah,
So like working away from home a lot. Funnily enough, it's for the company that I did my apprenticeship with that I work for now. To come
right,
back to.
right,
But yeah, there's always been a massive drinking culture around it, and working away from home was a perfect excuse to go out. And
Yeah.
like I say, at that age, you don't really have any commitments or cares. So there wasn't, I say there wasn't any danger in it, as in I wasn't drinking for the wrong reasons. I think you don't regret some of it, do you? Say, well, I definitely
Yeah.
don't from 16 to 21, 22. It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's what you did and you fitted in and it was a way of socialising it, confidence.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And it's funny because, like, I've had a lot of people on the podcast and, apprenticeships and all that. And yeah, it is a big drinking culture, even like, working on sites and all that. But the thing is, there's drinking cultures regardless, wherever you go. Do you know what I mean? Kids
yeah,
finish school, they go to uni, there's massive drinking culture. I worked in banks, in pubs, in call centers, all massive drinking cultures. Do you know what I mean? It's not like there's
yeah,
one, but the difference with apprenticeship is you're doing it from like 16. Do you know what I mean? So you're
yeah,
with your peers and they're obviously going down the pub at the end of the day. And what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you're
yeah,
getting a lift home with your mentor or whatever.
yeah,
And yeah, and so I'm not, like I was still drinking at 16, but I think with that it's kind of embedded in your kind of your makeup. This is what we
yeah,
do in this business. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, it did. It was sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday night was always get
yeah,
out. I mean, I look back now, I always used to do it and then get up for work and still perform, but you did. But yeah, I think yeah, I say it's just part of growing up. You wish you didn't. I think for me personally, I wish I hadn't,
hmm,
but I don't regret all of it. It's definitely
yeah, 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 yeah.
got that side to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, well, I think then from 21 onwards, it started to creep in as a to fit in.
Hmm, hmm.
So even through school, going back to the school a little bit, it was I had lots of mates, fitted in different groups, but I never was quite in one. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I've always think going through school, I thought I'm a bit something's a bit different. I'm not on the same level as certain people, not quite as clever as some people, and it was always that struggle to fit in.
Mm.
When I was a bit younger, I got bullied for a little bit. I used to get like a um, cold sore sort of thing, and I'd get nervous, lick my lips, and used to go all around my mouth. And so
Sorry, mate. Went
used,
off a
that's
sec
right.
there. Yeah, yeah. You're back.
Um, so yeah, that sort of thing. And then, again, back then it didn't really affect me too much. But going back to what we said earlier, I had therapy and counselling, and that come up, and then maybe you think maybe it did have an effect at the time. And
Hmm.
later in life, I developed like a social anxiety, and maybe it stemmed from all that. And like I say, I think even at 21, I was starting to drink just to find people to drink with and go out and socialise and
Hmm.
fit in.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's when it started creeping in as a problem, as it wasn't just for enjoyment. There was another reason to it, I
Hmm.
suppose. Um,
I think, I think it hits the nail on the head with a lot of people, and a lot of people don't realize it. Like I'm only just starting to realize. Like I started drinking at 14, and I'd go out with my mates, and then if they weren't going out, I'd find some other people to go out with. Do you know what I mean? I had
yeah,
my main core friends, but I was a bit of a floater as well. Like we're talking
yeah,
like take teens and into my 20s, because I'd always find people to go out with. But the thing with me is, I was always drinking, and I was always like
yeah,
I didn't know how to just have a couple and go home. Like and like when I got sober at 40, I was like, fuck, do you know what I mean? Like I've never
mm,
known how to socialize without a drink.
yeah,
So anxiety is like through the roof. Like I'm getting better at it now. But if you'd said to me, like obviously over the years there was a couple of like maybe events here and there that I would have to go to sober, but I'd hate it and I'd
yeah,
probably not be myself because I'd be quiet and I was like, I need to get a drink in me. Do you know what I mean? And I
yeah,
think we all use it as a social lubricant. We all use it. And yeah, of course there's people out there that don't drink and don't need to drink, but I would say the vast majority of people drinking from an early age, that's how they socialize. So
yeah,
we're seeing massive levels of anxiety coming through. There's always probably been it, but I think we're more aware of
yeah,
it now in mental health issues. So yeah, I totally get that, man.
yeah,
It's tough.
yeah.
So what was your kind of drinking habits like through your 20s? Was it just weekend drinking or?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, working away from home quite a bit, so
Mm,
it could end
mm,
up being almost Tuesday, Wednesday, or
yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. Then you go into the weekend, you carry on. Used to be football. So, like I say, playing and then go and watch Spurs. I'd be a whole weekend. It'd be a
Yeah.
home away. It could be weekends lost. So yeah, it was a lot, but yeah, binging I suppose. But like I say, yeah, it developed into doing it for other reasons and more regular, definitely.
I
So
think
that
like what you were saying there, like when you're away with your like carpenter crew as well, like carpenting crew, it's everybody's doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're
mm,
not like you work for yourself, I guess, or you got a boss, but your boss is doing it as well. Your whole crew's doing it.
yeah,
So like there's no one to say, obviously if you're a bit hanging more than the others the next day, they're going to take the piss out of you. They're not going to
yeah,
say, right, you better not come into work half cut again. Do you know what I mean? That's not like I
mm,
had to deal with that. I mean, you know, I'm reading a book at the moment called Dry by Augustine Burroughs, I think, and he's like an ad executive in New York, and it's like based on a true story. And he's going into work just before he gets basically told to go to rehab, and he's absolutely stinking. And he's like, "Well,
mm,
but I've taken mouthwash, I've sprayed my mouth with aftershave, I've done this, I've done that." And like his work colleagues, like, "No, it's coming out your pores." And I remember so
yeah,
vividly that, and I've been given warnings, I've lost jobs,
yeah,
but you're obviously in a situation where it's accepted and it's like, right, just crack on, you know? And if,
yeah. Especially back then, there was no. Well, I suppose it was, but sort of random drink drugs tests. They were never a thing on site really back then. You never
no.
saw it like you do now. And like you say, when people were taking a piss out of you, it was expected that you were going to be
Yeah.
hungover. Like if you weren't, what were you doing? You're not hungover. You didn't drink enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or
Um,
if you were
it was,
completely hanging, you're like, oh, you don't know how to handle your drink. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Weighing it up.
yeah.
So
And
you're
when you're a young
obviously,
lad and
yeah,
you see these older guys doing it, you doing the same, aren't you? And you want to fit in, and
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely a culture around it back then. So
It's a culture around it. It's also like that whole thing about, oh, you know, if you end up being an alcoholic or whatever, you're obviously not doing it right. You can't handle your booze, or you've taken it too far. The fact at the end of the day is it's a drug. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
This is what people
yeah,
forget. Drugs are by their nature addictive.
yeah,
So you know, it's just baffling to me that like, you know, it's kind of still frowned upon in society if you become like, you know, have a drink problem, or if you want to call it an alcoholic or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like
yeah, yeah,
you're doing it wrong, you've not been able to handle it, or whatever. But weirdly, the thing is, the thing that we're consuming is the more of that you take, the more drunk you're going to get, and the more you're not able to walk, talk properly. You know, you're going to be stumbling over, make rational decisions. So
yeah.
it's baffling. Anyway, sorry, carry on. So what do
That's
you
wrong.
think kind of developed through your twenties and made
Yeah,
you kind of
so
drink more?
because I met my wife now.
Hmm.
I was 19, she was 20, 21,
Okay.
sort of that young age. Out in town, the usual, like I say. So it all, even that evolved around drinking. Your relationship evolves around drinking. You're a young age, you want to keep going out. Yeah, so it just stemmed from there. I think she fell pregnant when we were both young and decided obviously the best thing was to do was to have an abortion, and we're both not in the right place, we're not been together long enough, don't live together. So I think that was the first sort of imprint, I suppose, that left the
Yeah.
memory in my mind, if that makes sense. That
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Well, it's
shit, that's what
It's
we've done.
traumatic. I mean, I
Yeah,
know it's the decision that you've both made, but
yeah,
that's a traumatic decision to have made in
yeah,
your life. So yeah, you're gonna be affected. Of course you are. Yeah.
yeah. So again, I think I'm not saying that was a necessarily an issue that made me start drinking, but I think
Hmm.
it's the first real thing that hits you in life was that for me, if that makes sense. And then like I say, going through, I reckon, like I say, 21 onwards, it started getting worse, and then I think 25 to 33, sort of 34 when I stopped.
Yeah.
That's when it really was my worst drinking. Um,
And your
again,
wife,
just
you say that you're married to that lady now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
When did you get married?
two coming up to 2 years, so it'll
Oh,
be two
right.
years in
Okay. So
September. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
been
were you
together
together the whole
14
time?
years. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Right. And
So
is she a drinker as well?
she is, yeah, but she doesn't. She's back then she was more of a drinker, like I say, when we were growing up, and then
Yeah.
I think my patterns and my how I was drinking definitely
Mm.
put her off a bit more, if that makes sense. So she's one of them that can go out now. She'll go out for a night out with the girls, let her hair down, but even then she'll have Malibu and Coke because she can handle it. She'll have 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
She's never hungover. She'll come back and then she won't drink for 3 months,
Yeah.
and it's just not a
It's,
problem for her. So
I mean, I think a lot of people do sow their wild oats in their 20s and have a good time and all that, and then they go, right, let's knuckle down, get on with this life thing because the
yeah,
hangovers are getting worse. And I know a lot of people that, yeah, they just calmed it down and grew out of it.
yeah,
And yeah, obviously I didn't. It doesn't sound like you did either. So
no, no. I was
yeah,
the same as you. I couldn't moderate. If I went out, I was going out to drink, and even if I told myself I was only gonna have a couple, it never was.
no. And it's like for
Yeah,
me, like a weekend would be the Friday night, big one, probably Thursday night as well. And then like Saturday would be as soon as I was getting down the pub, like, if it was lunchtime. And that hair of the dog, as soon as I learned about the hair of the dog, it was like, yeah. So there'd be times, well, I mean, latterly towards the end, it was day drinking for me. It was first thing in the morning, but yeah.
yeah,
So how did it kind of develop with you in your 30s then?
yeah. So like I say, so then I think the main key point, I witnessed a really sort of quite horrific incident, bad incident,
Mm,
working outside a pub. Yeah, heard a scream, and a lorry had turned into the pub car park, and a young girl on her bike was on the blind side, and yeah, basically I got out there. She was stuck under the wheel, sort of thing, of this lorry, and he's reversed off, and her shoulder was hanging on by a thread, pretty much. So
oh, Jesus.
I sort of grabbed her. We got her in the pub. This was like 9 in the morning, sort of thing. But that's yeah, that sort of when it really spiraled. So I think the next day I was driving to a job and I was nearly passing out on the motorway. So I had to
Yeah.
pull over, and they were like, "Yeah, you're now getting the after effects and the shock." So yeah, and then I ended up having a few weeks off, and yeah, that spiraled into sort of PTSD, anxiety. Um, and it's the first time it's ever, like I say, I've noticed it
Hmm.
really.
Hmm.
Um, and then I don't think it was that long after that, sort of months, that COVID hit.
Oh,
So
right. Yeah,
then,
of course, of
then
course.
COVID hit, and it was that I hadn't long been back with the company I'm at now.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then you get into that. You're stuck in the house with all these sort of feelings and thoughts. You're drinking at home, which I did drink at home, but it was
Hmm.
never a massive thing for me at the early days. It was always going out, socialising.
Yeah.
But I think then during COVID, that crept into drinking more at home, and
And sorry, were you furloughed or were you working
I
or?
was furloughed to start with, yeah. So I think
Yeah, yeah,
I only did about 6 to 8 weeks, so compared to some, it wasn't much. But
yeah, yeah.
because of the nature of our job being sort of government work and things like that, we
Hmm.
could go
Hmm.
back to work because we could do it. So yeah, I managed to get back, but even those, it wasn't every day. It was as and
Hmm.
when, and
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely found myself drinking more and more. And it was actually through COVID that I thought, right, I need to get some sort of counselling, and
Yeah.
the first time that I had that. So even after the incident, I probably didn't have any counselling or anything for months
And
really. And then
I mean, obviously, if you don't want to talk about it, did you get
that's
follow
fine.
up from that that girl's incident? Did she? No.
No, I
Um,
never heard anything else for it. Obviously, we gave our sort of because we didn't see anything. I was
yeah.
inside the pub. I just heard there was nothing that we could do. I mean, they did something within the pub and like almost operated and reconnected just to before the ambulance even got there. And they said by the time she'd left in the ambulance, there was like movement in two of her fingers, sort of thing,
Hmm.
which blew my mind because yeah, it
Wow.
was when I say hanging on by a thread, it was hanging on by a thread
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
the shoulder. But I mean, she was only 17 years old. But yeah, so and then after the counselling, like you just said, she said maybe you should try and find anything out, follow up. And I went back to the pub,
Hmm.
but the people that were there then they'd left. No one really knew anything. So yeah, I never did find out.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah. So
but yeah,
I
that's
mean,
definitely
she was obviously still alive. It was just more the arm type
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
obviously,
It
it'd
was
be
more
nice to
just seeing
know.
it, and
Yeah, of
yeah,
course,
she
of course.
definitely would have survived, and it wasn't. It was whether she kept her arm or yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, But I
would have
guess,
been the
yeah,
thing.
as you say, seeing that, witnessing that is just sounds absolutely horrific. And
Yeah, like I
yeah,
say, it was the scream more than anything I could, and
mm,
shouting. I'd close my eyes at night and I'd be hearing that, and
yeah,
it
yeah,
took a long time. And like I say, I probably didn't get counselling for a year or so, a year and a half, because that typical thing of I don't need that, I'm all right, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
brush it
You
under the
stiff upper
carpet.
lip, just crack on.
Yeah,
Yeah. And obviously, then with COVID
excuse me.
coming in at that point, and you're off, and you're not being kept busy, do you know what I mean? It's like you've got time to think about stuff. And
Yeah,
that summer, like, I mean, I was in and out of relapsing and whatnot that summer because I didn't get sober until the August. But
yeah,
it was this beautiful summer. Everyone was kind of outside. There was loads of memes about like, oh, we're off work, party in the garden and all that, as long as
yeah,
you're isolating. And it was madness. I mean, still looking back, I don't know. It's just this weird kind of fantasy world that we went through of COVID. What
yeah,
the hell was it?
yeah.
Being
Still
told
don't
to
make
stay in
sense,
your
does it?
homes. Yeah, it's still baffling.
Yeah,
And the amount of people that I know that they're drinking either ramped up or they'd never had a problem before, but then
yeah.
COVID came along and they ended up having a drinking problem because the bottles were getting opened earlier and earlier, and
That's
there
it.
was
Yeah,
getting more and more of them. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that was it. Yeah, I can't leave the house, so go in the fridge to get something at 10 o'clock, and I'll just grab a can. Or
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was that easy because there was nothing else. You weren't going out.
Yeah. And I don't know about you,
Yeah,
but I didn't know about this until after I got sober. And it was probably a good thing, but like Uber Eats delivers wine and stuff, and I think you can get it on
yeah.
Amazon now as well. So it's like, were you doing any of that at that point, or
No, I wasn't.
no,
No, I
no?
wouldn't have known at that
Yeah,
time. No,
yeah.
but yeah, it's so much readily available, isn't it now everywhere?
Oh,
So
any time of the
no,
day. I mean, I used to remember when we would be like round a mate's house, and we're talking like 10, 15 years ago, probably longer. And I remember we kept on trying to find these numbers because we'd heard about places that would deliver and all that. We never did find a place, but if we'd been drinking now, back then yeah, you just phone up. It's 24/7, isn't it? You just get it
yeah,
delivered to the house, and
yeah,
yeah, the party would just never have ended because, like, we probably got to points where we were absolutely sozzled, didn't need any more. I'm sure there was a bit of other stuff going on as well, and it was like it
yeah,
was a good idea. And I've done some stupid stuff and gone to the 24-hour Tesco's when I shouldn't have, and picked up stuff. But just having it delivered to your house now is just
yeah,
insane. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Mind
Yeah,
blowing, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So what kind of did you get to, like, a rock bottom point, or was it
Yeah,
just
so I think from then onwards, like I say, I had the counselling, started to notice different changes and that
mm,
the drinking was having a problem. But I think even back then with the counselling and counsellors, they weren't saying to me, "Oh, you shouldn't drink," or maybe you need to think about stopping drinking. It was just control it,
yeah,
and it was just the way it was. Even back then, what's that? I don't know when it was now, 8 years ago,
yeah,
um, 6 years ago. But even then, like there was a different look view on it, really. And yeah, I wasn't ever told, "Do you think this could be a problem?" And this is adding to it. It was just try and calm it a little bit, or try and do this.
yeah,
Um, and like I say, it just spiraled. I was definitely getting developed social anxiety. So even going out, it was getting to the point where I had to make sure at home, and my wife would get fed up with it, that I was having a load of drink before I went out. Even if it
mm.
was just us to go down our local, I
You'd
needed
have to have
that.
a few
Or
before. Yeah,
yeah, if I didn't, I was getting hot sweats and shakes and feeling faint, getting closer or walking up and things like that. If I knew I was going to be somewhere with lots of people, if we were going to it could be a concert, or going to watch a comedian, or
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah.
even something where it was at the kids' school. It didn't need to be a big thing, but I just had this real thing that developed. Um, yeah, I had quite a lot of serious head injuries through drink.
Ah, like
One,
blackout injuries and that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I used to black out a lot drinking anyway. That was my thing that I did quite regularly, and my wife used to hate it. She'd be like, "Do you remember this? Do you remember that?"
mm.
And not a thing. I was always, not always, but a lot of the time, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
quite regular drinking to blackout. Like I say, like you were saying, a drink, you go out, have as much as you need, plus more,
hmm,
come home, and she'd be going to bed. I'd still, for some reason, crack open a bottle of wine or
yeah.
some whiskey, and I didn't need any more. And then she'd go, "Do you not remember what happened after that?" And I'm completely blackout,
Mm.
and I don't remember anything. So yeah, there was definitely that side to it. But yeah, the head injuries, I had a bad one at Easter bank holiday weekend. I still don't know exactly what happened now. There's definitely strange stories. Don't know if there was a fight, if there was an issue, don't know. But I was told I was picking a mate up who was passed out on the floor, and then he fell, pulling me with him, and I face planted a fence post, and I basically cut all my top lip open, all my eyebrow.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't remember anything. Next thing I remember was in the hospital. And then I remember the next day trying to go down to the pub to thank the landlady, because I worked there at the time, funnily enough. She took me down to the hospital because she hadn't been drinking. And yeah, then I had a seizure at the pub the next day. So it was obviously like then that was pretty severe. I had a few more after that in the coming weeks. Yeah, and I was doing greenkeeping at the time at a golf course, so I had to stop using machinery to sort of drive in until I sort of had 3 months of no seizures. So yeah, it was quite a severe sort of head injury.
So the seizures were caused by the head injury, do you think, or it wasn't withdrawal or anything like that?
No.
Right,
Well,
right.
yeah, it was definitely due to the trauma of the head injury.
Wow.
And yeah, a couple of others through sport, head injuries. I fell down a mate's stairs, drunk, top to bottom, knocked myself out, foaming at the mouth again.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, I think that I sort of, after that, was getting really bad migraines, drinking a lot.
Were you probably drinking to kind of take away the pain and the migraine
Yeah, that's
sometimes,
it.
or just
Yeah.
what's my life become kind of thing, and
Yeah. So it's definitely all that had an impact. And then yeah, it just kept spiraling. And then I think, what would it have been? I'm trying to think, years. So a couple of years after COVID, my wife was pregnant. We've already got one daughter. She's 10 now.
all right.
She had a miscarriage, and then that obviously affects both people. It hit her really hard, and
Yeah.
you're trying, but I'm still in that drinking to excess, and then that probably spiraled again. Really, I should have been going the other way and helping her more and being there for her more. And then I think that's where it really sort of spiraled out. I was just drinking more and more. Didn't care what I was doing as such. Even work, like say, working away, just be an excuse to go and get hammered every night. Then I'd find myself drinking in my hotel room after the night till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just on my own, having it in there ready. And then I'd say my rock bottom, I definitely hit a rock bottom, was when I went to work out in Cyprus. Probably had over the course of a 6 month period, 8 to 10 weeks work out there, and just noticed I used that as an absolute bender. I was getting anything I could, sort of, more gear. I was never huge sort of in with cocaine and different things, but from time to time I'd dabble, but it was never a big thing for me. But by this point, it was, if it was there, I was taking. I was like, yeah, I love that. And then, one of the 2 weeks we were out there, I was just at a point where I didn't see a way out. I think that's where it got to me. I didn't see a way getting out of it. I was always going to be drinking, always going to be. I was letting people down, letting my family down. I could tell that they were noticing it, and I think that's what it got to me. And that's, I had a sort of suicidal time when I was out there, and I was thinking over a few days, I just don't go back home. And then, one night got absolutely sort of all day bender, afternoon bender after work. Carried on into night, took a load of speed. And I was like, this is it. And ended up on the top of a cliff, and I'm still here now. But whether I was gonna, it's not like it was a regular thing. It's the only time. But it was just not seeing a way out, if that makes sense. I was like,
You think this is what? Sorry.
It was guilt, really. I was like, I know I'm hurting people, hurting my family, not being there for my kids, but I can't get out of this cycle of drink.
Yeah. Had you tried at all to kind of cut back or do this and that?
Half-hearted, as we do. I'm
Half-hearted,
never drinking again, or I'll do a dry Jan and fail after a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I think that's the problem with dry Jan. You're doing it just to say you've done a dry Jan, but
most
not
people
really,
are just white knuckling it. They're just
the whole way through
February.
it, you're actually wanting to drink. You're just getting through till February.
And I think the thing with it being January, yeah, it's a good time to stop drinking, but also being January, nobody's got money, nobody's really going out that much, so it is probably
Yeah,
the easiest month of the year to
yeah,
do it. But most people like yourself, I think I've half-arsed it a couple of times in the past. It's just I'm white knuckling it, and then I think, oh, what am I
yeah,
doing this for? So I can see where you're coming from when you were in the Cyprus thing. Um, it's another country. It's hotter down there, so it's kind of
yeah.
like, as you say, it's kind of like a holiday. So do you remember being up on the cliff top? It wasn't in a blackout or anything like that, or
No, well, yes and no. I remember being up there, and
mm,
I remember, yeah, woo woo time, but I
yeah,
remember seeing a man, and even afterwards, I was like, what's just happened, sort of thing. And I did come round, sort of lying on the top of the cliff, and I remember strangely just putting some music on my phone and just laying there and quite surreal. But yeah, and then just seeing this man, and I was almost visioning myself, like I
mm,
wasn't there, but I was looking down at me standing there, and I just remember seeing like kids and my partner off the cliff, if that makes sense, as if to say
yeah,
that's what I'm. And yeah, it was a really surreal moment, really odd, but yeah, I had to come down for a few days
mm,
afterwards, but straight back into the same routine. It wasn't like that was the end for me. I think it made it worse at the first. It was, I'm going to struggle that off. What happened didn't happen. Go back to home and pretend everything's good. Didn't tell anyone what had happened.
mm,
And then the guilt from that makes you drink even more. And yeah, my wife, and she's never really said it, but I think she was getting to a point where enough would have been enough.
mm,
The kids were my daughter was noticing it, and the relationship with them was just breaking down. I was always wanting to be out. And then it was, I think, 6 to 8 months after that, after a Christmas and New Year. Um, so even through my drinking, I used to get, even from a young age, 23, 24, really bad pancreatitis,
oh right, yeah,
acid reflux. Like I definitely had from the binge drinking. And I think the stuff we drank as well. Like you'd have a load of beer and then go out and have pictures of vodka Red Bull and
yeah,
all these different cocktails. You think,
yeah,
God, what you must have been copious amounts of that going into your body. And
yeah.
we used to have a drink in a club near us, time out called a £5 fuck up.
What was in
And it
that?
was every clear optic,
Ah,
shot of every clear optic, and then fill it up with WKD. And you just think, that's just what you drank the whole time you're in there
it's like a dirty
regularly.
pint, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. And
yeah.
yeah, it did what it said, but you think, yeah, that can't have been good on the liver. And
No.
so yeah, and then like I say, that January after all that, and I'd been drinking probably the worst I've ever drinking. I was really ill. So it's the nicest way of putting it. What was coming out of my body
Mm,
was just green, bright green,
wow.
liquid. I couldn't keep food or drink down, and it's sort of a few days after. So the 2nd of Jan, I say, is when I stopped drinking because I couldn't.
Yeah.
Um, and I was really ill. I would imagine because of how I had been drinking leading to up to that, I would have been having some quite serious withdrawal effects and
Mm-hmm.
sort of that added into it. So I was just feeling so rough, so sorry for myself. And that lasted, I think it was 33 days where
Yeah.
I just couldn't even keep water in.
Jesus.
Lost
Did you
loads
go
of
to
weight.
hospital at all, or?
Yeah, so I was at the
Yeah.
doctor's, and weirdly they just kept saying, "Oh, give it another few days, get back to us. Give it another week, get back to us. Just try and keep water and toast and rice down." Yeah, eventually came out of it, and I got to weirdly. I just thought, well, I've done a month now with no drink.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go back to drinking now because this soon because of how ill I've been. So I thought I'll
Yeah.
just keep doing another couple of months, get to 3 months, and yeah, it's just gone from there. I've never drank again since.
Wow. Wow.
Um, but it just goes to show, like I say, that even at 33 years old, how ill I was. Like basically, the doctor said your liver, pancreas, kidneys, they're all rejecting what's going through your body. It's just acid, and
Yeah.
they're shutting down almost. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's pure
crazy.
poison. It's not like
Yeah,
as they say if they discovered today it would be banned because it's one of the most addictive and one of the most poisonous drugs that we have, and it's this socially accepted kind of whatever, pastime that
Yeah.
everyone seems to, have a problem with you if you say you've given up boozing. And it's, yeah, I'm so glad you got out of it, man. Did when you were at the hospital and that, did the doctors realize what was going on? Did they know that this was kind of some form of alcohol poisoning, withdrawal, or?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, when I spoke to the doctors and that, I said obviously I'd because there's the history on my record of the pancreatitis I've had, and
Yeah,
I could
the
go out on a
injuries.
weekend,
Yeah,
yeah, and then the next 4 days after that, I couldn't go to work or something or school because even back when I was sort of 15, 16, I remember
mm,
it, and it was just purely from alcohol. So it definitely stemmed from that. And like I say, they said it was like almost acid reflux where it burns a hole.
yeah,
You're basically doing that throughout your throat and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
wherever,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
just got acid overflowing everywhere, and your body's rejecting it, and that's why you can't even keep food and drink down. And so, yeah, they definitely knew it was related to that, but it was never. I was always just at home. It wasn't. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go to hospital. They just said it'll pass. Keep going, it'll pass. And I think the second and third week when I was ringing him, he's going, "It's got to be still clearing," and it's not. I'm still vomiting. I'm still,
hmm
yeah. And that was my wake up call. Really, strangely, it wasn't a suicidal thought. It wasn't how I was putting my family through. It was that made me think, oh,
yeah,
enough's enough. I don't want to feel like that again. And
yeah,
shit, if that's what's happening to my livers and kidneys, I won't be
yeah.
here to see my kids grow up. And yeah,
Yeah, it won't be your choice. Like on the cliff, it's I guess
yeah,
it was your choice
yeah,
to either do or not do that. But with
yeah,
this, it's like, when I've watched films, I know people who are way on the other side of that, from prolonged drinking, and they've got all the different things wrong with them, and it's not a pretty sight. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You see all the Bacardi adverts with people on the beach and beautiful and all that drinking, and it's glamorous. But then, the other side of it, like what you went through, is just absolutely fucking horrendous. It really is, and it's
yeah,
yeah. But some people, I've known people with who've been diagnosed with liver problems, and then they go and drink again. They've been told like you drink again and it's going to kill you, and they still
yeah,
go back to it. So I'm so glad you
yeah,
made the choice not to kind of go back because
yeah. And it's definitely hereditary as well for us because
yeah,
my dad gets bad acid, my brother gets the same pancreatitis, and he's cut back a bit now. But me and him both were the same. We used to say, if we drink Guinness, it'll be all right. Guinness doesn't
yeah,
do it. And even the doctors would say that's the best thing you could drink. Weirdly, they'd say if you're going to, that's the best thing to do.
yeah.
Um, but
I know
really, it's
someone.
still the alcohol going through your body.
I know someone that's massively allergic to alcohol. They come out in like blotchy skin. Their heart starts beating. They get
Yeah,
like hyperventilated. All this kind of stuff going on. They feel puffy.
yeah,
So instead of thinking, right, I'll never drink, they take massive doses of antihistamine before they drink.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
well, just give up drinking. Do you know what I mean? But at
yeah,
least you've kind of seen that it's a problem and it's not making you, well. So yeah, knock it on the head.
yeah,
So what did you like? I mean, I always say to people like 3 months is like the kind of magic number. Three's the magic number, isn't it? 3 months is when
yeah,
you start feeling better, you start looking
yeah.
better, your
Sleep
clarity
gets
of
better.
mind and all that. You're
Yeah.
far away from the last drink. So did you like after that 3 months? Did you struggle at all? Did you start thinking, oh, I need to go down the pub, or how did
Yeah, I
you
don't.
feel about that?
I just completely shut myself away.
Yeah,
That was my way of doing it. I reckon 9 months. I didn't go out. I didn't play near a pub.
yeah.
Um,
But you've got the
I've never been
family.
in a
You know what I
pub.
mean? You've got the family. You've got the
Yeah,
kids. Like you don't need to
yeah.
go out, really,
No,
do
of
you?
course you don't. No, no.
Yeah.
And you've got that. For me, a pub was. I'd never been in a pub really, very odd occasion and not been hammered. It was like if I
hmm
go back there, how am I going to go in there and not drink? Like that was the biggest thing for me in Slow Street. How are we going to be around people? And I know the biggest. I think the biggest thing is pressure in it, peer pressure, and
Yeah.
having the piss taken out of you, going, "Oh, you're not drinking." And
Yeah.
yeah, so I shut myself off for 9 months. I'd say the first afterwards, give it a month. I'd say that second to third month, which if you take out being ill, that was probably the first month really.
hmm
So then coming into that second month was when I started thinking I could drink now if I wanted to. I feel better now. I probably could have a drink. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I just shut myself off. I
hmm
didn't do anything. Um, After the miscarriage, we were trying for another child. And strangely, way it comes around. Funny story, but
Mm.
you blame yourself and my drinking and my habits, and we've been trying for a good, I'd say, year and a half, 2 years after that, while I was still drinking at this point.
Hmm.
And obviously nothing happened, and I turned around and said, look, she was putting herself under pressure and stress. Look, let's call it a day. I'm going to make the decision. I know it's going to upset you. You won't have any more. And this was sort of as I stopped drinking.
Hmm.
Um, and then, funnily enough, I booked in for the snip, and it was about 8 weeks away from the appointment.
Hmm.
And then I think 6 weeks in, she found out she was pregnant. So we got our second one. So it's strange how it works out, but
It
it
is.
almost made me think, was my drinking like when I was at my worst point there, was that the reason? Because obviously it can stop
Yeah, yeah,
fertility and things like
yeah.
that. And then you think, did it have an impact on the miscarriage? All these things. But that was what was going through my head when I was drinking.
Yeah.
And then, come out the other side, and it happens in funny ways. And so we ended up having the
Yeah.
second child. And it was like, for me, that was the point where I thought, right, I've got another chance here.
Yeah.
My daughter was
Congratulations, man.
sort of, cheers. So he's coming up to 2
Yeah.
now. And I think that really focused me again to think, right, even like I say, my daughter had noticed my drinking.
Hmm.
She's one of my biggest supporters now. If I make a joke going, oh, I may as well go and drink, she'll go, you're bloody not, you no chance. And she's like, she sees that change, and that's why when I think people say, oh, they don't realise it, they don't notice it, they
Yeah.
really fucking do, like big time, and they're taking it all in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So for me, it was like, right, I've got a second chance, do it again, and I think that's when I was like, right, I need to make this stick, and
Mm.
I think the big change for me at that sort of, like I say, 8 or 9 months was connection,
Mm.
finding community. I was on Instagram, but wasn't really doing anything or posting anything.
Hmm.
Um, I joined the Dry app. Again, I was in the background, didn't post, didn't do anything. And then someone just said, look, start posting, getting involved in the group.
Hmm.
And then I joined a group called Off the Sesh within Dry.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Guy called Matt Pink set up, that's part of the Dry app, setting that
Hmm.
up. And it's just a group of lads basically that he set up for like a men's group that all used to be a bit of
Drink.
sesh heads
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
drink related. And there's just literally a Zoom call every week. They do some meetups and trips.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just a game changer for me, finding a group, finding a connection. And that was when it all started coming into place really,
It
So
just kind of clicks, doesn't it? I mean, I
yeah,
I didn't. In my mind, everybody drank and everybody,
yeah,
went out and partied and all that. I didn't realize how big the sober community actually was. And I mean, I did a bit of AA, I did NA, even though drugs weren't a major problem with me. I would just take them here and there, but
yeah,
I went to NA and I did that militantly for a year. Like yourself, though, I kind of, just locked myself away because I didn't want to. I'd moved to the Isle of Man, I'd moved here, so I didn't really. The only people I knew was my family, so I kind of just, the only people I was going out with was people from meetings and stuff.
yeah,
Then I was on Instagram and, just converse, having conversations with people and chatting to
yeah,
people. And it's, a lot of people they don't want to go to AA or NA because they think, well, it's all about God, which it's not. But, and I get that. They don't want to go and sit in
yeah,
a room, so they want to do it online. And it's great. The Zoom meetings are fantastic. And I just think any way that anyone can find to get sober and stay sober and do the work is just amazing. I think
yeah,
that's um, like I picked and chose. I went to AA, NA, CA, smart meetings. I did stuff on Zoom I went to rehab for a bit. It was just everything and anything. It was like, to me, it's like throw the spaghetti against the wall and see what
mm,
sticks, and it's, I was reading Quit Lit and watching films and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
What was it? Oh, I was going to say, well, so this was about, God, it's probably about 15, 16 years ago when I lived in London with an ex of mine, and two of my mates came down from Cambridge to visit us, and it was a mad weekend. There was this, there was that. They were down with us the whole time, and they told us that they'd been trying to have children. They were trying for a baby, and they'd been doing this for a couple of years, and just they'd been checked out, and everything seemed to be working, but they just couldn't do it. And on the train on the way back from hanging out with us, they were like, let's just fucking knock everything on the head, like just quit everything, see what happens. I think within about 3 or 4 months they were pregnant, and
Yeah.
they've got 2 boys, I think now. So yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
you don't know whether that is affecting it or not, but like knock on the head and stop
Yeah.
putting poison into your body and
Yeah.
things can
Exactly.
happen. It's
Yeah.
mad. So
100%.
do you kind of go down into pubs now, or what was that like when you kind of reintroduced yourself back
Yeah.
into
So,
society and such?
like I say, I think the first 6 months was just getting through it, and I
Yeah.
was still in the mindset I want to drink again. And then I think after 6 months, it got to the point of actually, this is good. This is you because you feel better, don't you? And
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah.
everything starts improving. Then your sleep, your energy, and yeah,
Mhm.
I was like I say with the illness, I was badly overweight at that point. I was nearly 20 and a half stone, nearly 21 stone.
Right, wow, wow.
I mean, I'm 6'2", so it wasn't. People go, you didn't look that big, but yeah, I was very overweight, very unhealthy, very unfit. So it was like, yeah, that started dropping off without me doing anything. I was like, oh, I'm losing a
Hmm.
bit of weight. I'm feeling a bit better. Yeah, and then 9 months onwards, yeah, I think I started going out again. I can still go and sit in a pub now.
Hmm.
Alcohol-free drinks were big for me. Some people do, some people don't. It's
Hmm.
each to their own. Like you say, there's no right or wrong way, whatever works for everyone,
Hmm.
I think. But I use them a lot, still do now. Not a lot as much, but I still like them. Like I don't know, sitting
Yeah,
in front of the telly watching the rugby or something. It's like it's nice to have a couple of alcohol. There's some nice ones out there. Sort of,
there's so
you're
so
drinking because
many
you
now.
actually like it though, not
Yeah,
because you just want to get hammered. You're drinking because you think, oh, that craft lager is quite nice actually. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
I would never try any of the. I think you can get vodka and
yeah,
gins now, and I'm like, that's
yeah,
probably too close to the bone for me because I mean,
mm,
my end game was basically straight vodka, just necking
yeah,
it. So I wouldn't go there. But like, I really like the Guinness Zero.
yeah,
We've got a few local breweries over here that do like a cup. They've got a couple now of like alcohol-free stuff, and it's great.
yeah.
Like, I won't go out and session on them. I won't like. I think I
No,
have.
yeah,
I think I did have seven one night, seven Guinness, and I was like, whoa, that's probably
yeah,
too many of that. And I
yeah.
think I felt a little bit because it's not completely zero. And I felt a
No,
little bit funny the next day, and I was like, right, I'm
yeah,
not doing that again. But one or two, especially out having a
yeah,
meal or whatever,
yeah.
it's great.
Especially now getting them on draft, it always
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good. You feel like you're fitting in a bit. No one's asking any questions,
No
and
one's
they're
asking you
nice. It's just nice.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely easier now to go out, but yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore. One thing I've still not done is go back to footy, because that was just bender. Weekend's gone, and still not gone back.
Hmm.
Doesn't really bother me now. It makes me wonder if I even went to the football or if I was just going for that
Yeah.
excuse to have a bender. But yeah, so going out doesn't bother me much now. I choose to do it.
Hmm.
That's the good thing about it now, as and when you want, and you got the beauty of driving. And when you get to
Oh,
that point, off you go. I'm out.
the
So
beauty of
yeah,
driving and the beauty of not having like what you and I did. Like we'd be coming home, and like people in the house that want to have a conversation with us, and they've gone to bed because they can't be bothered, and we've cracked open another bottle of wine. Like, what's that all about?
yeah,
But now it's like getting home about maybe half 10, 11 o'clock. Being able to
yeah,
drive home and then get to bed, and then being able to get up and do stuff over the weekend.
yeah,
Like, I love my
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
weekends. I work hard at the
yeah,
week. I don't want to just lay in bed all day
no,
and waste it away.
no.
You know?
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? I'm up early for work anyway, so I can leave at 5 in the morning, half 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So my body clock I've done that for years. That's my body clock. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
thought now of I love that going to bed at 8 and up by 5, and
Yeah.
you got a whole half a day extra that you never used to have.
Oh, it's
Um,
amazing. I mean, I've
yeah,
got three stepkids, and I love being able to do stuff with them at the weekends, and just being here in Clarity. I mean, they've never known me as a drinker, so I'm glad of
no,
that. And it's just being able to kind of just not being sat
yeah,
in front of a telly all weekend or wanting to go and gorge on a McDonald's or whatever to make
yeah,
yourself feel human again.
yeah,
Because we work
no,
hard,
definitely.
so we need to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, you still got to have your own things.
And you've been doing a lot of kind of. Well, is it running or did you do a hike? You did a hike recently,
Yeah,
didn't
so I
you?
did some running. I've done a couple of charity hikes. So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty year and a half into it, I decided to do an ultra 57k hike.
Wow.
All bold and confident. Yeah, I'm really fit now, and I've lost 2.5 stone. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the worst thing I've
Brutal.
ever done. I've done it. I raised good money for
Yeah.
alcohol change, and yeah, I got through it. Literally passed out on the line. I was that
Yeah.
dead on my feet. Had
But you
sort of
did it, man.
medical thing around me. Yeah, done it, and it proved to me what you can do, and
Yeah.
I think it spurred me on really from there. Like I say, the weight loss, I'm not down under 17 stone now, feeling good.
Nice.
Because I
Yeah.
think another thing that I noticed looking back with counselling is body dysmorphia. Like I was so Guinness, red wine,
Yeah.
I was that weight, and I used to feel so horrible about myself and going out and how I looked and drinking through that, and then still not there yet, but I'm at a point where it's like, actually, I'm quite comfortable doing that, quite comfortable going to the beach with my top off, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's all this stuff that drinking just hid, but actually
Mhm.
made worse,
Mhm.
was not helping in the slightest. So yeah, and I just love my hiking now. Going out is
Yeah.
even going back to what we said earlier about the woo woo. So when I was up on that cliff, and then funnily enough, I went to when I started getting involved in the dry up. They did a dry festival last summer.
Mhm.
Not the one just gone, the one before. Um, and everyone went there, and they had sort of different wellness things and yoga and meditation, and they did some breath work.
Nice.
And I was at that point now. I was like, right, I need to start looking at this sort of stuff, and I sort of changed my mindset around it. And
Yeah.
I went. It was a group. Obviously, there was 3 sessions, so there was 20 odd people laying on this church floor. She was doing this breath work stuff, and I did the sort of first set of round of things. I thought, okay, this is all right. And the second one kicked in. I thought, oh, I was drinking. And then the third one, I had this really profound image, and straight away I knew where I was. I was up on that cliff, and I was like,
Oh wow.
shit. I don't know if this is the time and place for that. So I got up, said I needed the toilet, and left. And it sort of
Yeah.
brought it all home to me a bit, and it was like, oh, I don't know how I felt about that. I felt really awkward at the time, but yeah. So I think it was after that I started going back to some counselling and therapy, as in just to talk about everything. And
Yeah.
actually, I think when I had my counselling and therapy before, I was always hiding a lot of stuff. Whereas here, I thought, right, I really want to delve into
Mhm.
the deep stuff and the healing side of it. And yeah, so I've done that, and it just spiraled out of there really. And then I've had sort of Reiki and
Oh nice.
reflexology and all this sort of stuff, and it's all come to the forefront. And the spirituality side come through, which
Yeah.
I never thought would be me. I never thought I'd be here, but I'm like, wow, this is like a whole new eye opener, and everything that you feel and look at life is completely different way.
Yeah.
And from what I've gathered and worked out, so I had a hike up in Yorkshire
Mhm.
only 5 or 6 months ago. This is where it really sort of stemmed from, and I was having this hike, and I was walking down. There's a waterfall, beautiful waterfall and pool area,
Mhm.
and I sat there, and there was a few people around. There was a woman doing a sketch, and it was all that, and I must have sat there for about 20 minutes, half an hour. I was almost in my own little zone, and everyone left.
Mhm.
And this was probably half an hour later, and this bird flew down, and it literally, end of my boot, I was on a rock, and it was sat on this rock. And never thought anything of it at the time. I just thought that's amazing. Took some videos on my phone and pictures, and then it went away. Someone came down, and it went away. I thought, got back to me digs that I was in that day. I thought that was actually quite surreal. Like for me, that was I'd never sort of seen anything like that. It was
Mhm.
almost there. It was, and I got my phone out and done the Google where you can tell what it is, sort of thing. And it said, oh,
Yeah.
because like tail was wagging, and it was a wagtail.
Ah.
Oh, right, fair enough. So I thought fine, and I googled the spiritual meaning behind it, and it said, oh, healing, and I was like, right, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Follow your intuition, all this sort of stuff. And literally that night, I got on my phone and go to Google. I thought, right, where can I get sort of reflexology and Reiki and stuff around my area? And I found a few numbers, rang around a few people, sort of explained my situation, and one of them just really stood out. She goes, "Oh yeah." She spent a good half hour talking to me on the phone about it and
Mhm.
going through everything. And I said about the counselling, and the counsellor had said, "Go down this, maybe try this sort of route of like more spiritual sort of healing sort of thing."
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, so went to meet this woman, and shit you not, walked in a place and there's wagtails on the wall. Um, and I was just like, this is crazy. And I told her the story. She's like, yeah, that's how it sort of works out. And I was having all these sessions with her, and I was just like, to me, it was like, it was meant to be, I'll come and see
Yeah.
you, and that's where we're going to do it. And then
Getting
I haven't
goosebumps,
said it,
man. I'm getting goosebumps when you tell me the
yeah,
story. Yeah, it's mad.
just crazy. And it just led from there. So I hadn't told her anything. I thought, I'm going to keep everything from that side of it back. I'll just tell her this is what I want to do. And we had a few sessions of reflexology and different things, and then I had some reiki. And just what came through was just she was like getting things come through, and she's like, "Oh, I'm getting a man in a flat cap sort of thing," which meant nothing to me. It meant absolutely nothing to me. She goes, "Does that mean anything?" I said, "No, not really." And then I thought about the guy on the cliff, but I knew it was a man, but I hadn't sort of seen him, sort of thing. And then one day I was having some sort of breath work again, and that image was coming back to me, and I sort of stuck with it for the first time. And there I was, and there was this man there, and he's got his cap on. And I was like, this is that guy. So she said that if you don't know, he's saying if he doesn't know who you is, ask your mum about a red coat. So I was like, what the hell? Really odd. She goes, that's all he's getting. That's all he's telling me. I was like, fine. So it took me a few weeks to get the courage to go and speak to my mum about it. Because I was like, she don't know about any of this side of what I'm doing, this sort of thing. So I said to her, just out of interest, does a man in a flat cap ring any bells in your life? And she was like, your granddad, John. I was like, right. My middle name's John, named after my great-granddad John. Sorry, great-granddad John.
Yeah.
I was like, right. And anything about a red coat? And she was like, yeah, he brought me this massive flamboyant red coat that I wore during my sort of teenage years to go out for years and years. And she goes, that's the only thing I can put it to. So yeah, so it sort of said to me that this was, but it's all, and it just all made sense. So it's like, maybe he's I don't know, it's all new to me still. It's only 5 or 6 months, but I don't see anything from a religious perspective. I'm not a religious person, but it's the universe, that guardian angel, higher self. I don't know what it is, but yeah, and it's sort of it's blown my mind.
It's an absolute amazing story, Ollie, and I love it because, like as I say, it gives me goosebumps. Because the thing is, like, I'm not religious. I'm not. You know, I was born, I guess, you know, into Christianity or whatever, but I don't follow any. I don't go to church. I did go to AA and NA, which people say is, you know, but it's the God of your understanding. And for me, my higher power was the universe, because I was like, it's everything around me. It's all encompassing. I did a lot of meditation when I was in rehab, and I absolutely love that. I've kind of fallen away from it, but I need to go back to it, because that kind of got me to, you know, go deeper into myself. And yeah, the universe and everything is just so massive and unfathomable. We have no clue. We have no clue about what can happen and what's going on. What I know is, I don't know if you've ever read the book The Alchemist.
No, but
by Paulo Coelho. That's all about, like, you know, if you start something, the universe will kind of go, okay, this person's trying something new. Let's you know, like, give them a little couple of helping hands along the way. Like, the universe will conspire to help you. You know, and some people can say, oh, it could be beginner's luck or whatever. But like, for me, as soon as I got sober and started trying different things, I set up my own gardening business. I went back to doing my photography. Everything just started happening for me, you know? Like, before, when I was drinking, I wasn't putting anything back into the universe. You know what I mean? I was just drinking and being negative and bad vibes and all that. You know, like, I wasn't a horrible person, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just wasting my life away. But as soon as I started doing things that were positive and kind of, you know, reaffirming in my life, just good stuff started happening. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I'm 5 years later now, and you know, I've married an amazing woman. I've got 3 stepkids. You know, I live like literally 10 minutes away from my mum and dad. Before, I used to live hours away from them. My brother's just up the road with his kids. I've got all of these amazing people around me, and it's, you know, it's all down to me not drinking. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing I gave up. And you know, life just starts getting better, and the universe starts looking after you. So
I think it's being open to it, isn't it? When you're drinking, you're not open to all this sort of stuff. You shut it up. Whereas now you're looking and you think, I'm open to this, and I'll let things be, and what happens happens. And like I say, the hiking and nature and being up in a mountain, being around water, just gives me this, I don't know, I can't explain it.
It's like a clarity. It's a clearness of the head. Like I did. So we've got Isle of Man's pretty small, you know, and we've got an addiction charity over here called Motivate, which I do a bit of peer mentoring for. But anything that I do that's kind of, so I walked around the island on my own. I did it like over 4.5 days wild camping because 100 miles circumference. So I did that for Motivate. I did a half marathon this year for Motivate. So anything I do, I kind of like, I'm raising money for them.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like I love doing these, like either, whether it be a half marathon or a 10K or that like hike around the island. I love being out in nature and doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Like I say, I work away a lot, so my life always used to be evolved around the nearest town, the nearest Wetherspoons. I need to stay somewhere near that.
yeah,
Whereas now, they all go and do that, and I'm
yeah.
staying in the middle of nowhere, as far away as I can, in the middle of nowhere, where there's good walks, good hikes, or a
So this
lake,
is
or
so this is like your colleagues or your crew are going, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
they're getting onto that in the Weatherspoons, but you're going off. Good on you, man. That's
yeah,
got to
yeah.
take a
So
lot to do that, you
that was
know.
probably the hardest thing at the start, really, was
Yeah,
the work side of it. But now I just, I'll stay. Like when we work up in Scotland, I'm getting up in the mountains as far away as I can,
yeah,
or staying in the middle of nowhere. It's just, and yeah, that connection that you find
yeah. And
with
how is
nature, I
that
suppose. And, yeah,
with your colleagues, your workmates? How is? I mean,
yeah, they're pretty good actually.
yeah. I'm sure there
Culture's
was a bit
definitely
of
changed
banter
a
and
bit.
piss taking at the beginning, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Which I think after a while you get used to, and you think actually that's part of work life, and
yeah.
as long as it's not going too far, I think I can handle that. And but
Well,
to be fair
exactly.
to them, most of them they're used to it now. They just, but I think that's the beauty of it. The key thing for me is I don't care anymore. I
No,
don't.
no.
I really don't care what people think, other than my close family and mates,
Yeah,
closest group. I don't care what people think. There's people like this is something I've just spoken about that I've never spoken about before to
yeah,
people that could potentially watch this or something, and
yeah,
they'll go, "What's he going on about? That's meant. What? He's nuts." But I don't care.
yeah,
I'm at that point now where I'm not doing it for anyone else.
yeah.
You're not trying to please other people, or it's just I don't. Yeah, that's
I
how I feel, and that's what I want to do.
and I totally agree. And I think, like, you know what, if you've got a good group of mates that are going to accept what you're doing now, and they're not going to, there's a bit of banter at the beginning, but then they're going to go, right, yeah, whatever you're doing, that's
Yeah,
cool, and they haven't dropped off the radar. Then those are the real people. They're their real
yeah,
mates. I think it was about 2 years sober, and one of my best mates from growing up in Glasgow. Like, we hadn't spoken for a while, and then we were on Messenger, and he was like, "Oh, you still doing this sober game or whatever?" And I was just like, "Really?" And
yeah,
it was like, you know what? And I just kind of left it, and I haven't heard from him since. Do you know what I
no,
mean?
yeah,
And it's like one of those things where it's like, if you're not kind of being encouragement to what I'm doing here, then I'm like, there's no bad blood there, but I'm just like, I don't really need these
yeah, yeah.
people in my life. It's
No,
not,
exactly
they're not
that.
bringing me anything. And as I say, he's never kind of messaged and said, "Oh, how you doing?" and all that. So I'm just like, what is it they
Yeah,
say? Don't, there's no point in watering dead plants, so I don't
no.
do that anymore.
I'll find you. Like you say, you find who your true friends are, which
Yeah,
you can count on one hand half the time now. But
yeah,
half of those people that you used to, I don't know, put your life on hold for, or affect your family life, affect your relationship for, that you
yeah,
never hear from again. Now you don't drink, and you think, why did I used to do that for them?
yeah.
And you find out
You'd
who
be
your
like,
true friends are, and it's yeah,
yeah, you'd be like on a Friday night, and your missus maybe doesn't want you to go out because they want to watch a film with the kids or whatever, and it's like, no, 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 I've got to go. I'm going to go down the pub, and I need to see the boys, and it's like, I would find myself doing that sometimes, and it's like, well, why? And then you find you're sat down an old boozer
yeah,
till 1 in the morning or whatever, 12 o'clock, just talking absolute shite,
yeah.
and it's
The
like,
same
what?
thing you did the week before, and the same
Yeah, 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 yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
People
And then
sat in the
Saturday
same
comes
places.
round. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
You could
mental.
walk back in your old pub now, and still you'd be able to know before you got in there where certain people are sitting, what certain jokes you'll hear. You know it. It doesn't change, and you think you don't realise. People don't realise the cycle they're in. I don't think.
Exactly
Yeah,
that, and they're just and it's too hard for them to get out because it's just the norm for them, and it's like, well, what else would I do? And that's the thing. People say to me when I got sober, like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, everything else.
yeah,
There's this amazing world around us
yeah.
that there's just so much to do, and it doesn't cost money. Like hiking, running,
Exactly.
whatever, it doesn't cost money,
Yeah.
but it gives you
Sea
that
dips,
clarity.
cold swims, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
buzz you get off that is, I think what they say is it drinks 20 minutes, 30 minutes dopamine hit, and then if you
If
go out
that,
in nature or you ground or you go and have a cold dip, it can be 2, 3 hours that hit is, and
yeah.
it's just
I
from
mean,
doing something completely natural.
we've literally been living on the beach this summer over here, and it's like we bought ourselves a paddle board, we got a kayak, and it's just great fun. I mean, the water's freezing, but you're getting that cold
Yeah,
water dip as well, so it's all
yeah.
good. It's all good.
But I think on the flip side to that with the mates, it's surprising how many people reach out, or maybe the ones that you didn't expect would, and
Yeah,
they
and they're
might
like,
they might not say it in a roundabout way, but they're not saying it directly, but you know why they're asking or why they're,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and
And the
I
thing
think
is, we're
that's
not.
why we keep doing it.
We're getting to the age now where people are starting to think, oh, I should be really worrying about my health and taking a bit more care of myself. And it's like, if I'm going out and, like, I hate to go on about it on the podcast, but it's 7 types of cancers they now know. Like, breast cancer is linked to, one of the main
Yeah,
causes is alcohol,
yeah,
pancreatitis, like you were saying,
yeah,
liver damage. Everyone's always known about that. But I think the cancer thing, I didn't know about that when I was drinking Hell
no,
for Leather. I thought, yeah, I smoked as well, but I was like, well, I'll give that up at some point, But then, like, if I'd known that drinking was doing that as well, I'd have
yeah,
probably given that up
yeah,
when I gave up smoking. But they don't. But
yeah,
all the bottles say is drink responsibly. I think they
yeah,
need to start putting labels on bottles saying this is really bad for you. Not saying that they're going to stop drinking, but at least people have the education about it. That's
yeah.
the thing.
It's like, funnily enough, listened to one of your podcasts earlier, and
Mm.
um, was saying about one that always sticks with me. The fact is about the deaths and
Yeah,
direct deaths, plus the ones that are linked to alcohol. And you think when you add them all up, compared to every other drug there is, and the two legal things, smoking and drinking,
yeah.
absolutely outweigh everything else added
No,
together. And
it's mind blowing.
it's crazy. It
And
really is crazy.
the government, like, they're making an absolute fortune off it. We get that, but they're
Mm.
absolutely piling money back into the
Yeah,
NHS to
yeah,
what weighs what out. And the fact
mm.
that they still let the alcohol companies, like, do their own advertising, they self-regulate themselves, so there's no control over that yet.
No,
I hope it will come in at some point, but
yeah.
yeah. Ollie, what advice would you give to someone that was kind of sober curious or just starting out on their recovery
Um,
journey?
phew, yeah, best bit of advice. What's that? There's
Mm,
loads, but yeah, definitely just stick at it. I think, give it a good amount of time. 2 months, 3 months, the more the better, because you'll really see the benefits. That's the thing for me. Like those first 4 to 6 weeks, it's tough,
yeah,
but it's when you come out the other side of that, you start seeing the good side of it. And fill your time, find
mm,
something to do, connection. I wish I'd done that earlier, found some connection, because if you can find some, even if it's a group local to you or something that you can go and do on a Friday night, because that's
hmm.
most people's time, isn't it? Like, just find something to do, find a new hobby, fill your time. That's what I wish I'd done to make things easier. But
Yeah, yeah.
just stick at it, because you don't hear many people that go alcohol free and go sober that say, "I wish I hadn't done that."
I was
We're
just going
all
to ask you,
we're all
I was just going
we're
to
all
ask you,
banging the drum because it's good.
yeah, I was going to say, do you regret getting sober, Ollie?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's changed.
yeah,
The way I look at it now, when people go, "Will you ever drink again?"
yeah,
I've always said I'll never say no, because you never know what can happen with
yeah,
grief and loss and things like that. But I'd like to think I wouldn't, and I'm
yeah.
99.8% sure I wouldn't. But
Mm,
my answer to always is, there's nothing it offers me. Alcohol does not offer me anything. There's not one aspect of my life where it would
mm.
be improved by having it. So that's my outlook on it. I just,
And I hear what you're
yeah.
saying. So how much sobriety have you got now? What's your time?
Yeah, coming up to just over 2.5 years. I'm 1,000 days in 2 Sundays, 3 Sundays time, something like that.
Nice, nice. That's
That'll be
good.
the
Well
thousand
done,
day
man.
mark.
Well done, man. The
So
thing
yeah,
is, like, I know what you're saying there about, like, I was the same. I think the first 1, 2, 3 years, and I was like, oh, what happens if, like, someone close to me died, or grief, or, major trauma in my life. And I was like, yeah, I can't say if I, but now, like, 5 years, and it might be different for you, but I'm like, no, I'm not. There's no way I'm drinking again. And A, like, why would I want to disrespect their memory by drinking? And B,
yeah,
what good's it going to do me? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I'm just going to end up back where I was, and even worse, because I've been drinking again. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, like, it takes time, but yeah, I don't think
yeah,
that's going
definitely.
to be an issue. But
I
yeah,
think the biggest beauty that comes out of it as well is feelings, like everything that comes up, like dealing with it raw, and it's hard at first, but you eventually
Oh
end
yeah.
up embracing that, and it's like it's great. It's all there, clear, and you know the best way out of it. And I think that's another thing at the start that people I found hard was dealing with those feelings. So yeah,
Hmm.
when they do come up, get through it, and
Mm.
it ends up becoming amazing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
without a doubt. And it just, learning like to deal with the emotions, but also having patience. Like I never had patience in the past. Like I would never fly off in a like mad rage or anything like that. But I would just get frustrated and a bit like pissed off. Do you know what I mean? To be like, right,
yeah,
I want everything now and this and that. And yeah, but now I'm just like, you know what? Like if there's something I can do about a situation, then I'll do it. But if I can't interact and make anything better, then why am I going to worry about it? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like so, I just learned to live with it and sit with it, and life is good, man. Life is good.
yeah, exactly
Um,
that.
have you got any recommendations? And don't worry if you don't, but like for a podcast or a book or a film about recovery.
Um, Book-wise, no, because I never used to read, and I'm starting to try and read now. So
Yeah, yeah,
been
yeah.
told, been
What
told,
about
but
Audible? Because I can never find time to read, and when I get home from
yeah,
work and I pick up a book at bed, I fall asleep. But I listen to Audible on like when I'm working. Do you know what I mean? When I'm
yeah,
working during the day, and I could just go through books and books and books because I'm listening to them.
yeah, yeah. I listen to it a lot when I'm driving because I drive a lot. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I say, the last few weeks I've been sticking yours on in the morning and then
Ah,
sticking them on the way home, and it's like
thanks, man.
hour and a half journey, funnily enough, and it's like perfect for your.
Perfect. Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
podcast. There's podcasts for me are the one I listen to a lot. There's so many out there, and then Alcohol Explain the book. I know everyone,
Yeah, no,
especially on
it's a
like
good
the
one.
dry. I haven't read it, but I need to read
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But yeah, there's just I think there's so much out there, and just yeah, it's good to. I think the best bit is hearing other people's stories.
yeah.
It's like,
That's what helped me at the
mm,
beginning when I went to
yeah,
like AA and NA, and I just thought I need to. And I know there's so many podcasts out there, but I just like to add another one to the massive podcast list, and
mm.
yeah, thank you for coming on, Ollie.
No,
It's been
nice
an
one. Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure
Enjoyed
getting
it.
to know you and hearing your story, mate. So, thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for
Um,
having me on.
nah, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. We will catch up with you soon, mate. All right, take it easy.
Cheers. Take
Cheers,
care, mate.
man. Yeah, thanks, Ollie. Thanks for giving up your time to come on and share your story. His first kind of podcast. So yeah, I think you did amazing on that. Because it's not easy to for the first time sharing your story, and I know it's just me and him talking, but I guess in the back of your mind, it's a lot of people are going to be listening to it, so there is that aspect which can kind of put you off. As I say, I think Ollie did great, but it's quite a traumatic story. He got to that point where a lot of his organs were just failing on him, and bringing up just not being able to hold anything down, dealing with almost pancreatitis, which he'd had before, and just basically having to give up because he had to give up. I mean, I never got to that point where it was almost like, right, doctors are saying you have to give up. I don't think I was far off of it, but for Ollie, it was like, right, I can't drink, I physically can't drink because my body's just rejecting it. And then to start realizing that this acid reflux was kind of hereditary, and it's not. It's just madness that we keep putting this poison in us time after time when we know that it's possibly not serving us any purpose and it's not doing us any good. So well done, Ollie, for kind of recognizing that, because I know a lot of people that wants to get better for whatever it is, alcohol related, whatever, and then they're just straight back on it once they start feeling a bit better. So it's definitely something that your body's trying to say to you. Listen, don't do this anymore. We've had enough. We're we're rejecting it. So yeah. So I think Ollie did the right thing to kind of almost hermitize himself. I know I use that word. Don't know if it is, but it works. For about 9 months, which was great. It's what he needed. What he needed to get kind of back on track, put that distance between him and the pub and social aspects, and then just have the miracle of having that second child when they'd almost kind of given up hope and making steps to kind of go, yeah, we've written that chapter out of our life. So just amazing kind of how the universe kind of transpires, and to hear that Ollie started kind of, just looking inwards and doing a lot of massive kind of spiritual, like reiki and meditation, and just finding answers and feeling the kind of universe going, right, yeah, this is the path, that you should be on. So good luck to Ollie, with the future. So yeah, thanks again for coming on, man. Great chatting with you and getting to know you. So thanks again. Mentioned sober seasons at the beginning, so yeah, just sign up. As I say, if you feel like, oh, autumn's a bit early, get involved in the Christmas one, which will be 21st of December. I know it's 4 days before Christmas, but I always say to people, like, if you're wanting to do the winter one, I'll give you leeway till the new year and then start. But a lot of people do start on the 21st of December. They don't want to go into another drunken Christmas. So it's one of those ones. So just get involved and get it going. That's about it for today, guys. Thanks again for listening right to the end. And yeah, put a comment in, put the 5-star review in, put the 1-star, whatever. Just let me know why. But honestly, just leave these comments, because we want more and more people to find After Hours, and this is the way to do it. So yeah, feel free to share it as well if you've really liked an episode, and stick it on your own socials and pop it out there. But thanks again for listening, guys. Stay safe, stay supportive, and stay sober. Bye bye.